I was alone at home, but someone kept unlocking the doors. The first time it happened, I thought I forgot. Just forgot to lock it. But then it happened again, and again. Every night at 2:13 a.m., the sound, click, not loud, but deliberate, like someone gently, almost respectfully, turning the deadbolt from the outside. I live alone. There are 3 locks on that door. I check them. I double-check them. But at 2:13, the last one always slides open. And tonight, I watched it happen. If you're hearing this, please don't try to find me. Just subscribe. Not for me. For whoever ends up in this house next. I moved into the house last fall. It was a rental. Small, plain, tucked at the end of a cul-de-sac no one had a reason to drive through. The kind of quiet that feels unnatural at first, like you're holding your breath without meaning to. It was just me. I'd ended a long-term relationship 2 months prior and needed space. Real space. No shared walls, no upstairs neighbors, no one asking where I was going or when I'd be back. This house offered that, and nothing more. That's what I liked about it. The first time I noticed something off was a Wednesday night. I was watching something on my laptop, some forgettable true crime doc that blurred into the rest, when I realized the air felt colder than usual. Not freezing, just noticeably off. Like someone had left a window open. I paused the video and listened. The house hummed like always. My fridge has this low, breathy rattle, and the old pipes knock when the heat kicks in. But I didn't hear wind. I didn't hear anything, really. Just the sound of the lock. Click. It was soft. Intentional. Not the rattle of a loose bolt or metal shifting with temperature. It was the sound of someone on the other side of the front door, the deadbolt turning. I froze. Not out of fear at first, out of confusion, because I was sure I'd locked it. I stood up slowly, walked barefoot across the cold floor, and stopped a few feet from the door. I didn't want to make a sound. I leaned forward, held my breath, and stared at the locks. All 3 were in place. I stood there for maybe a minute, maybe more. My heart was beating in my ears, but everything else stayed still. Nothing moved. I started to wonder if the sound had come from my laptop, a scene from the documentary I'd missed. I told myself that, even though it didn't feel true. I went to bed a little later, but I didn't sleep well. Around 2 a.m., I got up to check the door again, just in case, still locked. The next day, I replaced all 3 locks with new ones. Heavy-duty, commercial grade, with long bolts and thick screws. I remember the guy at the hardware store asking if I'd had a break-in. I told him no. He said something about overkill. I laughed. That night it happened again. This time I was already in bed. I just closed my eyes when the click came again. 2:13 a.m. exactly. This time I knew I'd heard it. Same sound. The deadbolt, bottom lock. I got out of bed instantly and crept to the door. One of the locks was open. I just stood there staring at it. I must have looked insane. Hair a mess, t-shirt twisted from sleep, barefoot with a kitchen knife in my hand. I didn't even remember grabbing it. I locked the bolt back, slowly, quietly. Then I pressed my ear to the wood and listened. Nothing. No footsteps outside, no retreating car, no wind, just stillness. I stayed up the rest of the night. I didn't call anyone. What would I say? Someone keeps unlocking my door, but nothing's missing and no one's there. No one would believe me. I wasn't even sure I believed me. So I set up a camera. It was just my old phone, propped up on a bookshelf aimed directly at the door. Motion activated. I tested it 3 times. Every time I walked past, it lit up and started recording. That night, I locked the door, all 3 locks, and turned the phone on. I barely slept. Every sound felt loaded, like a trigger waiting to be pulled. But morning came. I checked the door. Still locked. I checked the camera. 1 new video. 2:13 a.m. It was only 4 seconds long, just static and darkness. And then, clear as day, the sound. Click. But nothing moved. The door didn't open. The lock didn't twist, at least not on camera. I watched it 10 times. My breath caught every time I heard it. The same sound, no one in frame, no movement, just that sound. That's when I knew something was wrong. Not just with the house, with me. I didn't tell anyone. Part of it was shame. Not fear, not yet. Just this gnawing feeling that I was making something out of nothing. That it was in my head. That I was being dramatic. So I deleted the video. It felt like control at the time. Like deleting a voicemail from someone you've cut out of your life. I wanted it gone. If it wasn't there, maybe it hadn't happened. I convinced myself it was the lock mechanism itself. Something mechanical. Maybe when I'd installed it, I didn't tighten something enough. Maybe pressure was slipping over time. That made sense. Enough sense to sleep again. I didn't stay up that night. I didn't check the door at 2 a.m. I told myself I was moving on, but around 2:30 I woke up cold. Not chilled, cold. Sheets stiff, skin prickling. The air felt still again. My first instinct was to check the thermostat. It was normal, but my feet took me to the hallway, to the door. One lock was open, the same one. I just stood there in the dark, listening, not breathing. My ears were ringing. I didn't even touch the door. I just stared at it for a full minute and backed away. I spent the rest of the night sitting on the kitchen floor with the lights on. Knife beside me, TV muted. In the morning, I did what I should have done sooner. I called my landlord. I told him the locks were acting up. He offered to come by and take a look himself, but I said I'd already replaced them. He sounded distracted, said something about old wiring and foundations shifting. I could tell he didn't care, but something about how he said it stuck with me. Those houses on the cul-de-sac, they've all got their little issues. He didn't elaborate, just said it like it was common knowledge. I asked if any other tenants had complained. Nothing serious, he said. One guy kept changing his locks, like constantly. Had a bunch of cameras too. I think he moved out last year. Moved out or disappeared? I didn't ask. I didn't want to sound crazy. That night, I left the lights on in the living room, every single one. I pushed the couch in front of the door, not because I thought it would stop anyone, just so I'd hear it if someone moved it. At 2:13, I was wide awake. I heard the click, and then I heard the couch creak, just slightly, like it had shifted half an inch forward. I didn't breathe, I didn't blink, and then nothing. No footsteps, no door opening, just the sound of the house holding its breath. Same as me. I got up when the sun rose and checked the camera. It hadn't recorded anything. Nothing triggered it. But the couch, it had moved. Just a little. Just enough to let someone in. I took the day off work. I couldn't concentrate. Every time I opened my laptop, I'd catch myself glancing toward the front door. It didn't help that I hadn't slept more than a few scattered hours in days. My head hurt. My thoughts moved like cold syrup. Around noon, I went digging. Not physically, not yet, digitally. I searched for any news about my house. The address, the street, the cul-de-sac. Nothing came up at first, just rental listings, a local zoning meeting about tree removal, completely benign. Then I found something buried in a neighborhood forum. It was 5 years old, a thread titled, "Weird Stuff on Elm Row." Most of the replies were jokes. One person blamed raccoons. Another said the area was built on an old irrigation trench, like that explained anything. But one comment made me stop scrolling. We were at 62. Door locks kept breaking. One night the back door opened on its own, but the alarm never went off. We left a week later. My stomach dropped. My house was 64. I messaged the poster, even though the thread was years old. I asked what they meant, if anything else happened. I didn't expect a reply. I got one 10 minutes later. "Are you in the same place?" I stared at the screen, then typed, "Yes." There was a long pause. Then, "Leave." That was it. I replied again. No answer. I refreshed the page. The user had deleted their account. That night, I pulled the smoke detector out of the ceiling. Not because it was malfunctioning, but because I noticed the little red light wasn't blinking anymore. I unscrewed it and found the battery was missing. I never removed it. I checked the carbon monoxide detector next. Same thing. Dead. Battery gone. Every device I'd relied on for safety, tampered with. That's when I finally searched the crawl space. There's a hatch in the hallway closet that opens to the subfloor. I'd never gone down there. The idea of it creeped me out, but I needed to know. The flashlight I brought flickered even though it was fully charged. My boots echoed in the hollow crawl space. Cobwebs clung to the low ceiling. The air smelled damp, metallic. I found a box, cardboard, water-stained, covered in dust. But the top had been disturbed recently. Inside were photographs. Dozens, maybe hundreds, all printed, not digital. Most were faded or curled at the edges. Every one of them showed the same thing. Doors, just doors. Different styles, different houses, but always taken from the outside, dead center, as if the photographer had stood directly in front of them. Some were clearly old, Polaroids, others were glossy modern prints. In the back of the box was a manila envelope. Inside were 3 photos of my front door, one with the old locks, one with the new ones, and one from last night. I dropped everything and scrambled out of the crawl space. The moment I sealed the hatch, I locked the closet with a padlock. I didn't even own one. I drove to a gas station, bought the first one I found, and locked that hatch like something underneath might crawl out. But that night, I found one of the photos pinned to my fridge. It hadn't been there before. It was the last photo from the envelope. My door at night. One lock open. Stamped in the corner was a date. February 14th, 2:13 a.m. That was tomorrow. I called Emily. We hadn't spoken in weeks, not since the breakup, but something about the photo on the fridge broke whatever silence I'd been clinging to. She was always the one who made sense of things, the calm one, and I needed to hear someone else's voice. She answered on the second ring. "I thought you didn't want to talk," she said. I didn't answer right away. My voice cracked when I finally said, "Can you come over?" To her credit, she didn't press me. Within an hour, she was at the front door, looking at me like I was a stranger. I must have looked awful, unshaven, hollow-eyed. The circles under my eyes didn't look like shadows. They looked like bruises. Inside, I showed her the photo, the box, the locks. She listened quietly at first, touched the photo like it might smear under her fingers. "You think someone's doing this to you?" she asked. "I don't know. I don't think I'm doing it to myself." We went back and forth for an hour. She tried to be rational, calm, the way she always was. Suggested maybe the landlord was messing with me, maybe a prank. Maybe someone wanted me out of the house for some reason. "Why you?" she asked. "Why this place?" I didn't have an answer. She agreed to stay the night. We set up her phone and mine. 2 cameras, both facing the door from different angles. We taped a piece of thread across the bottom lock so we'd know if it turned. We even leaned a broom gently against the door frame. Any movement, and it would fall. At 2:10 a.m., we sat in the dark, barely breathing. At 2:13, it happened. Click. The lock turned. The thread snapped. The broom didn't fall. The door didn't open. We both stared, paralyzed. Emily reached out, trembling, and tried the knob. Locked. Still locked. The thread lay in 2 perfect halves on the floor. We didn't sleep. Just sat there until the sky turned pale. In the morning, we checked the footage. Both videos had stopped at exactly 2:12 a.m. No error messages, no corruption, just blackness, then static. Then the footage resumed. Both at 2:14, exactly 1 minute missing. Emily left around noon. She said she believed me now, but her face said something else. I could feel the distance rebuilding as she gathered her coat. "I think you should stay with someone for a while," she said. I nodded. That night, she didn't answer my texts. The next day, I drove to her place. Her car was in the driveway. Her lights were on. but she didn't answer. Her roommate said she hadn't come home the night before. That was 3 days ago. I filed a report. The officer asked me a few questions, then nodded like he'd already decided something. I told him everything, even about the box, the photos, the lock. He smiled like I'd told a ghost story. Houses settle, he said. Locks shift. Sometimes folks forget what they really heard. I asked if he'd seen a girl with shoulder-length black hair and a gray jacket. He nodded slowly. Said her name was Emily? Yes. He looked down at his notepad. She left this. He handed me a photo. It was my door. One lock open, stamped with today's date. It started with the mirrors. Everyone in the house, the bathroom, the bedroom closet, the hallway near the front door, all of them were slightly off. The first time I noticed it, I thought it was just the lighting, a smudge, but it wasn't. My reflection would delay, just for a second, like it was trying to catch up to me, or worse, watching me. At night, I covered them all. Sheets, towels, duct tape, anything I could find. I couldn't stand seeing my face anymore. Or rather, the version of my face that didn't always blink when I did. And then there were the noises. They started faint. Breathing sounds from behind doors I hadn't opened. Whispers when I passed the vents. My name sometimes. Not loud, never a scream. Just barely spoken, like a thought that didn't belong to me. I started keeping a journal, trying to document everything. But every morning the pages were blank. The journal itself never moved. The pen always capped. But anything I wrote the night before, gone. One night I tried recording myself sleeping. I set my phone up by the bed, pressed record, and let it run. The next morning, the video was exactly 6 hours and 12 minutes long. I watched the first hour. Nothing. Just me shifting a bit. But around 2:13 a.m., the screen flickered. For just a frame or two, there was something. Not a person, not really. More like a shape, a distortion, as if the air itself had bent inward. And then a voice, right next to the microphone. Not mine. It said, "Don't close the third one." I didn't understand, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. That day, I counted the locks on the front door again. 3. That night, I locked only the top 2, left the bottom one undone. Nothing happened. At 2:13 a.m., silence. I should have felt relief. I didn't. I felt watched, judged, like I'd obeyed something I never meant to listen to. The next day, all the photos in the house had changed. Not the ones I'd taken, but the ones that came with the rental. You know the kind. Generic smiling families in cheap wooden frames. I never bothered replacing them. Now every face was blurred, not digitally, physically. The paper was warped, smudged, like the ink had melted, and in the center of each photo, a tiny black fingerprint. Always in the same place, the chest. I threw them all out, every frame, every photo. The next morning they were back. Same places, same frames. But now every face was mine, smiling, except for one, the one in the kitchen. That version of me wasn't smiling. Its mouth was open, like it was screaming. I turned the frame around and left the house. When I came back, it had turned itself back around. That night, I tried to stay awake. I drank coffee, paced the living room, chewed on ice to keep my senses sharp. I watched the door, all 3 locks secured. 2:10 a.m. Silence. 2:12. My phone died. Fully charged. Just shut off. 2:13. The lights dimmed. Click. All 3 locks opened, one by one. I didn't move. I couldn't. The door didn't open. But I heard breathing on the other side. Not heavy, not angry. Just familiar. Like someone I used to know. Then I heard my voice. But not from my mouth. It came from just beyond the door. "Let me in." I stopped answering the phone. Texts went unread. Emails piled up. I knew my job would eventually notice. But the idea of explaining this, explaining any of it, felt impossible. I wasn't just afraid. I was unraveling. I unplugged the router, covered every mirror again, even taped paper over the darkened windows. Not that it helped. The house breathed with me. Or sometimes, instead of me. I heard footsteps in the attic one night. Slow, deliberate pacing. But when I pulled the ladder down, the dust was untouched. No footprints, no broken insulation, just cold air that smelled like wet stone. No one believed me. I called the police again. The same officer came. He stood just inside the door, looked around like he already wanted to leave. "You again?" I asked if there was any update on Emily. "She's probably fine," he said. "People take off all the time." "She didn't take off," I snapped. "She left her wallet, her keys. She's not the first person to disappear around here," he mumbled. I asked what he meant. He didn't answer, just tipped his hat and walked out. That night, all my cabinets were open when I came back from the bathroom. Every single one. Plates, bowls, glasses, untouched. But the doors were wide open, like someone had gone through them without taking anything. I closed them, one by one, hands shaking, went to the bedroom. The bed was still warm. I hadn't been in it for over an hour. Something was wrong with time. My clocks would skip minutes. My phone alarms wouldn't go off. I'd fall asleep at 9 p.m. and wake up at 3:33 exactly, night after night. The same sound outside the window. Click. Not the door this time. A lighter, a switchblade, a toy, I don't know. One night I screamed into the hallway. Just screamed. Not a word, not a cry for help, just sound. The next morning, there was a note slipped under my door. It said, "We heard you." That's when I knew I wasn't alone. Not just haunted. Watched. Everything I tried to document, erased. Photos corrupted, video files blank. Even the audio recordings I'd sent to a friend, gone. Like they never existed. One night I left the house and walked in circles around the neighborhood. I needed to see people. I needed to be reminded that the world outside still existed. But every window I passed, dark. Every house, silent. I started to wonder if I was the only one left on the street. Or worse, if I'd been moved somewhere else, somewhere almost like my neighborhood. Familiar, but wrong. I stopped recognizing my own reflections in puddles. They didn't move like I did. One day I waved at it. It smiled. I didn't. I started looking into the land, not the house, the land itself. Something about the foundation, the layout, even the air. It felt older than it should, like something was built here long before any of these homes. County records were useless. Most files only went back 40 years. Everything before that was either unavailable or marked as lost during a fire in 1982. I went to the local library, microfilm archives, newspaper scans, handwritten ledgers. After hours of digging, I found it. One mention. A single article from 1974. Local church faces closure after death of fourth child during ritual fast. The church was gone, torn down, but the lot address listed, my house. Back then it wasn't residential. It was fenced off, privately owned by something called the Third Voice Fellowship. I couldn't find anything official on them. No websites, no lawsuits, not even a tax record. But there were mentions, posts on obscure forums, dead links, a single comment on a 10-year-old blog. If you hear them knock 3 times, don't open, not even the last one. Especially not the last one. The third voice. I said it out loud once just to hear how it felt. The lights dimmed. I stopped talking after that. In the crawl space, I found something else. There was a crack in the wall behind the insulation, just wide enough to slip a hand through. Inside, wrapped in decayed cloth, was a small wooden object, a carved triangle with a hollow circle at its center. Burnt into one side were 3 vertical lines, like tally marks. I threw it away. It showed up on my pillow the next morning. That's when I realized the locks weren't for keeping something out. They were for keeping me in. I didn't want to believe it, but I already knew. The locks, the noises, the triangle, the third voice. It wasn't random. This was a ritual, and I had become a participant. I found a journal tucked behind a loose panel in the bedroom wall. It was old, pages flaking at the corners, written in tight, panicked handwriting. The entries were fragmented, names I didn't recognize, dates going back to the 60s, diagrams of doorways and symbols carved into thresholds. One entry was circled in red. February 17th, must choose, door opens either way. That was tomorrow. Another page showed the same triangle I'd found in the wall. Underneath, just one phrase. 3 locks, 3 nights, one must stay open. I'd been locking them all again, hoping to defy whatever rule I didn't understand. That night I had a dream. I was standing in front of the door. The bottom lock was open. There was someone, or something, behind it, whispering. Not words, just longing. As if it wanted to be let in, not to hurt me, but to return to something, to finish something. Then I turned. Emily was in the hallway. Her face pale, eyes hollow. She said, "You kept me here." I woke up screaming. The triangle was on my chest. I threw it into the fireplace. It didn't burn. That morning, there were 2 envelopes on the floor. No stamps, no handwriting, just sealed. Inside the first, a photo of Emily, but her face was missing, just blank skin. Inside the second, a single sentence written in red ink. "Close them all and someone you love will disappear. Leave one open and you take their place." There it was. The impossible choice. Either I leave a door open and let it take me, or lock everything and let it take someone else. I paced for hours, cried, screamed, begged something that would never answer. I wrote letters, recorded messages I wasn't sure anyone would ever hear. If I chose wrong, maybe no one would even remember I existed. I looked at the locks. I closed the top, I closed the middle, and I left the bottom one open. I don't remember falling asleep. I don't remember dreaming. I just remember waking up at 2:12 a.m., eyes wide, chest tight, mouth dry like I'd been screaming without sound. The door was still closed, the bottom lock still open. My hands were shaking. I didn't even try to put on shoes. I grabbed my keys, my phone, and I ran. Out the front door, down the street, barefoot on cold pavement. No cars, no wind, just the buzz of old streetlights flickering above me like tired eyes. I turned every corner like something was chasing me. Even though I never heard footsteps, only breathing, right behind me, not panting, not growling, just following. I reached the gas station a mile away. I slammed on the door until the attendant looked up. He didn't open it, just stared at me through the glass. I yelled for him to let me in, told him something was wrong, told him I needed help. He lifted his hand slowly, pointed behind me. I turned, no one there. When I looked back, the door was locked again, lights off. The station was closed, but I'd just seen him. I walked the highway until sunrise. No cars, no people, just endless road. Eventually I saw a billboard. It was blank, pure white. No logo, no message, except in the lower corner, handwritten in black ink. "You can't leave what you invited." I turned around. My house was across the street. I hadn't walked in a circle. It had followed me, or worse, it had brought the house with it. The front door was open, wide. I stepped inside, heart pounding. Every light was off. Every clock frozen at 2:13. In the living room, every object was stacked neatly in the center. Couch cushions, dishes, shoes, photographs. And on top of the pile, the triangle. It was humming. I stepped back. The front door slammed shut on its own. The locks turned, all 3, and I was back where I started. It didn't come through the door. It came from the mirror. I'd covered them all, every last one. But in my bedroom, the sheet had been pulled back, just a sliver. Just enough. The air was vibrating, like the room itself was holding a scream in its throat. I stepped toward the glass. My reflection stared back. But it wasn't mine. Its eyes were wrong. Too still, too knowing. It smiled before I did, and then it blinked, but I didn't. The thing in the mirror leaned closer. Its mouth moved, but no sound came out. Instead, the hum in the air grew louder, higher, like pressure building in my skull. I couldn't move, not out of fear. Something was holding me still, locking me into my place. The figure began to open its mouth wider, unnaturally wide, past the point a human jaw should move. No teeth, just void. Blackness with depth that pulled at the edges of the glass. From that void, I saw things. Flickers, scenes I couldn't explain. Emily, staring at me through a door she couldn't open. My childhood bedroom. But the posters were wrong. The bed was too small. Someone was sleeping in it, and it wasn't me. A hallway with no end. The triangle, floating, spinning, and behind it all, the thing. The third voice. Not a creature, not a person, not even a shadow. It was a thought you couldn't unthink, a presence you couldn't stop hearing once you noticed it. It moved without moving, it spoke without sound. And when it finally reached out through the glass, my reflection disappeared. And I was looking at a version of myself I had never been. Not scared, not confused, just gone. It stepped through. And I stepped back. But the room didn't change. Only I did. It didn't kill me. It didn't have to. Whatever it was, the voice, the thing in the mirror, the presence that kept unlocking my door, it didn't need to take my life. It just needed to rewrite it. I didn't feel pain. I felt absence. Like something slipped out of me, quiet, subtle, and took its time doing it. For days I didn't eat. Not because I couldn't, because I forgot I needed to. My reflection started following me again. This time it was delayed in all the right ways. But it wasn't me. The clothes matched, the movements mirrored, but the expression, wrong, blank. Like someone who just accepted their part in a performance they never auditioned for. I left the house once, I think. Went to the grocery store. The cashier didn't look up, didn't blink, didn't even scan the items. Just handed me a receipt that said, "You're almost ready." When I got home, the triangle was gone. In its place, a mirror. Small, handheld, resting on the pile of stacked objects in the living room. I picked it up. Inside, I saw my face, but my mouth moved before I did. It said, "Thank you." And I felt something else take a breath inside me. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I smiled. And for the first time since the first click, I felt peace. That's how it wins. It doesn't chase you. It convinces you to stop running. It doesn't kill you. It makes you open the door yourself. I still live here. At least I think I do. The house looks the same, but it feels repainted, reassembled, like someone copied every detail from memory and missed a few pieces. The front door still has 3 locks. I don't touch them anymore. They lock and unlock themselves now. Sometimes when I'm awake. Sometimes in the middle of a sentence. I've stopped inviting people over. They don't last long. One stayed the night. A co-worker who thought I was going through something. She said she'd sleep on the couch. I found her toothbrush in the freezer the next morning. Her coat was still by the door, but she's never answered her phone since. The landlord stopped replying too. His number doesn't even ring anymore, just cuts to static. I've checked the internet for the listing of this house. It doesn't exist. Not just offline, gone. No records, no address, no satellite view. Sometimes I walk into rooms and the furniture is different. Not moved, changed. Chairs I never bought. A mirror I broke reappears, uncracked. The worst part, I forget things. Not big things. The little things. What day it is. What my own handwriting looks like. The sound of Emily's voice. I tried recording this story once. The file deleted itself while I was saving it, so I started writing it by hand. Every day. A little at a time. This version you're hearing. It's copied from memory, not mine, but someone else's. It was under the bed this morning, typed, neatly formatted, with a post-it note that read, "For them." I don't know who them is, but I know what it wants. It wants to be heard. It wants to spread. That's why I'm giving this to you. Because once you hear it, it knows your name too. If the lock's open tonight, don't answer the door. Just comment below, so we know you heard it too. And if it whispers your name, don't let it finish the sentence.